Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, imagine this for a second. After a long, exhausting, but super determined job search, you finally open your inbox, and there it is. The email you've been waiting for. It's an offer for a role that genuinely excites you. You wrote the perfect resume, you absolutely crushed the interviews, and right now you are standing at the threshold of a major professional success story. But hey, before you pop the champagne and fire off a super enthusiastic reply, you really need to hit pause. Why? Because what you do in the next few hours and days is going to fundamentally alter the trajectory of your entire career. Today, we're diving deep into the critical strategies of mastering the job counteroffer. We're going to map out exactly how to avoid the most common mistakes, how to prep like a pro, and how to use rock-solid market data to justify exactly what you're worth. Let's get into it.
So, you received the dream offer. Now what? Let's put you directly in the shoes of a successful professional who just got a resounding yes from a great company. It's a huge moment of triumph, right? But let's be real. It's almost always followed by a massive wave of anxiety. You look at the offer and realize, the salary or maybe the benefits don't perfectly align with what you had in your head. Do you risk losing this dream job by asking for more? Or do you just kind of settle? Well, to navigate this, we're going to break down the biggest missteps people make at the bargaining table and give you a structured, data-driven strategy to make sure your final agreement actually reflects your true absolute value. Act 1, the arrival of the offer and the temptation of yes. We really need to talk about the danger of the immediate yes. This is our very first major trap. There is this overwhelming, almost primal urge to accept an offer right away because we're terrified the employer might just move on. So many candidates think, man, if I don't sign this right this second, they're going to assume I'm not interested and just give the job to the runner-up. They think the safest play is to just take what's on the table and maybe, just maybe, try to negotiate for a raise once they're already in the building. But operating out of this fear, it's a profound mistake and it can cost you dearly. Because here is the hard truth. Accepting immediately destroys your negotiating leverage. Literally, the moment you say yes right off the bat, your leverage is gone. Once you signal that you're perfectly happy to take exactly what they initially offered, you completely tanked your odds of getting anything more. You've basically shown your entire hand. The reality is actually way less intimidating than we build it up to be in our heads. Employers actually expect you to take time to think. They fully anticipate that a serious professional will want to review the details, talk it over with their family, and look at the big picture. So instead of a panicked, quick yes, use this exact 3-step playbook for your immediate preparation. Step 1, express excitement and gratitude. When the offer comes in, let them know you are absolutely thrilled. Step 2, ask for a day or two to review the details. Unless you're in the middle of a crazy cross-country move or you have explosive competing offers, asking for 24 to 48 hours is totally standard and 100% acceptable. And step 3, plan your strategy. Use this breathing room. You've already secured the offer, so now you have the space to figure out exactly how you're going to counter it. Moving right along to Act 2, looking much beyond the salary. Instead of just staring at today's paycheck, you really need to zoom out. Ask yourself, where is this single decision going to position my career in 5, 10, or even 20 years? A successful negotiation isn't just about paying next month's rent. It's about setting a long-term trajectory. If you negotiate successfully for a higher salary right now, you earn exponentially more over your entire working life because every single future raise and job offer will be based on this new baseline. Think about it. A seemingly small 5% bump today easily compounds into tens of thousands of dollars over a decade. But honestly, beyond just the money, negotiating for the right resources and responsibilities on day one points your entire career in the best possible direction. David Lax, the co-author of the book 3D Negotiation, perfectly summarizes this mindset shift. He says, the job you're applying for isn't your final job. Rather, it's setting you up for the next job. Realizing this completely changes the game on how you evaluate an offer. You aren't just looking at what they're paying you to do the work right now. You are looking at how this specific role builds the exact expertise and experience you're going to need for your next big leap forward. And remember, you can and absolutely should negotiate for alternative benefits. Employers are often perfectly happy to provide these from a totally different budget. Let's look at some real examples that go way beyond your base salary. Think about negotiating a stronger job title that sets you up for leadership later on. Or how about negotiating for dedicated support staff so you can actually focus on high-impact work? If you need to level up your skills, an employer might be completely willing to pay your tuition with pre-tax dollars, which is way cheaper for them than you paying out of your own pocket. Often, companies honestly do not care whether they spend their budget on your salary or on these high-value perks, which gives you an amazing opportunity to craft a package that perfectly supports your unique success story. Which brings us to Act 3, the power of data and justification.
Okay, so you have to overcome the employer's initial anchor. In any negotiation, the first person to drop a number, which is almost always the employer, sets an anchor. This biases the rest of the discussion heavily in their favor, sort of pulling the gravity of the negotiation toward their ideal number. To break free from the pull of that anchor, you cannot just blindly ask for more money. You need a compelling, data-backed justification to pull the conversation right back toward your true market value. So how do you do that? To build a rock-solid, undeniable case for your worth, you have to pull benchmarks from the right sources. Talk to recruiters. They know real-time hiring budgets. Connect with industry insiders who actually understand sector-specific compensation trends for someone with your exact level of experience. Check out online sites like Glassdoor to get baseline salary benchmarks. When you counteroffer, you're not just saying, "Hey, I want X." You are saying, "Based on market data from these reliable sources, the standard compensation for my level of expertise is X." It completely changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. Let's talk about the art of justification. Because having data is powerful, sure, but human beings, we respond to logic wrapped in a really good narrative. You have to make your request not just mathematically sound, but logically compelling for the actual human being sitting across from you. Harvard Business School professor Deepak Malhotra gives absolutely golden advice on this. He says, never let your proposal speak for itself. Always tell the story that goes with it. An employer who is actually worth working for will want to accommodate reasonable requests, but it is 100% your job to make that request as compelling and as easy to say yes to as possible. The market data gives you the right to ask, but the story gives them the reason to agree. Check out the clear contrast between an unprompted demand and a justified, story-driven request. Saying, "I want to work from home on Fridays" is a demand. It just naturally invites pushback. But saying, "I need to work from home on Fridays because my kids come home early from school" is a story. It gives a highly relatable, highly practical reason that makes it incredibly easy for a manager to just nod and agree. You need to apply this exact same logic to your data-backed salary requests. Instead of just tossing out a higher figure, weave in the unique value you're bringing and explain exactly why that figure aligns with market standards for someone with your specific, proven track record. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to remember this. Negotiating successfully right now pays off exponentially over your entire working life. By not rushing to a quick yes, by looking way beyond just the base salary to long-term career benefits, and by using hard market data wrapped up in a compelling story, you completely take control of your professional narrative. You are the author of this success story. So as you stare at that dream offer sitting right there in your inbox, ask yourself, are you ready to strategize your counteroffer and finally claim your true worth?